Dolphins fans, day 2 of minicamps is in the books, and Wednesday's practice, we saw a more run-heavy focus, and you have days like that in practice. Some days you focus more on the run games. Other days you focus more on goal line or red zone work, but today was more of the run-heavy focus. Got to a point where Tua even asked offensive coordinator Frank Smith, like, yo, guys, can maybe run something else? Can we call something else? The defense is kind of starting to tee off, key in on what we're trying to accomplish here. But that was the focus of the day. But the best report that we could have gotten from the day is the report of solid offensive line play. Now, why this is important, obviously we need solid offensive line play, but what makes it even better, this was without Teron Armstead. And yes, this was still without Connor Williams, who remains a holdout going into day 2 in minicamp. So we'll have to see if he reports on Thursday here for the third and final day of minicamp. Wouldn't hold my breath if he didn't come to the first 2. However, keep in mind, no Teron Armstead, no Connor Williams today. Armstead's not holding out. Don't get that twisted. Connor Williams holding out, Teron Armstead essentially getting like the veterans rest day. We're going to talk a little bit more about the offensive line later as well, but let's jump right into the day's orange jersey wear. Because just like Travis Wingfield said the day before, it's rinse, wash, repeat when it comes to Christian Wilkins. Because Wilkins was donning the orange jersey, which goes to the top practice performer from the day before. But it's the same thing over and over again. It's like Wingfield said, you don't even need to report it. Constantly getting into the backfield, pressures on the quarterback, tackles for a loss, blowing up plays in the backfield. Every single thing that we saw on film last year, in actual game footage, we're seeing in practice once again during these mini camp, these OTA sessions. Wingfield also noted that he wouldn't be surprised if Alec Ingold is the orange jersey wearer in Thursday's practice. Like I said, the final of the 3-day mini camp. Like I said, today's stuff was a lot of run focus, a lot of short to intermediate stuff. But Ingold was the guy catching a bunch of those passes, making the most of those opportunities, especially showing that connection with Tua. So keep your eye on who gets that orange jersey in Thursday's practice as well. But speaking of Tua, in the team period, got him down going 4 for 4 for 40 yards, looking sharp and decisive. And yeah, there wasn't a lot of downfield stuff today. But what do you want from your quarterbacks in these OTAs, in these mini camps? You want sharp plays. You want decisiveness. You don't want turnovers. And that's what we got from QB1 today. So that's all good news on the quarterback front. Wingfield also noted that Justin Bethel, cornerback, has had a nice couple of first days of these mini camp practices. Got an interception today off of Mike White, but throughout the day, tight in coverage, filling in well with the run stops. And think about Justin Bethel, because you sign him yet last year, you think he's going to be a special teams guy, and bam, we just got dismantled by injuries in the secondary. And he had to come in and play some meaningful snaps, and he did a pretty damn good job in the process. Now, he's going to be obviously fighting for a roster spot with how deep the cornerback position is. We'll talk a little bit more about that throughout the video as well. But good news that we're getting some quality play out of the depth at the cornerback position as well. Let's talk about the running backs. Both Jeff Wilson, Devon Achane, noted for their runs today. Both found the second level multiple times. Both had some big runs. Achane might have had a long one that went the distance as well. And the reporters were singling out Rob Hunt, another guy. It's kind of rinse, wash, repeat at this point in time. But then Austin Jackson, Kendall Lamm, Isaiah Wynn, as some of the guys that were winning consistently with these blocks. And like I said, it was numerous reporters. But once again, Sports Illustrated's Omar Kelly noted offensive line continually getting a surge. And that's kind of the story of the day. It's that we've got a good defensive line. And yes, Christian Wilkins, those guys, they get their wins. But man, being able to get a surge from this line when it's not the big trio that we talk about, when it's just one of the big trio, when Teron Armstead's not playing, when Connor Williams is holding out, and we're getting these other guys that are fighting for starting positions and starting for backup, staying in there for backup roles and trying to get those roles as well. Getting the push from those guys, that is great news from today's practice. A couple last running back notes. Savon Ahmed noted for some nice plays. But yes, all running backs getting solid production is a welcome sign. No Raheem Mostert today. He was dealing with a little bit of an injury, got the day off. So other people getting some run. But keep it noting as well here, we got to keep things in perspective. running backs having a good day, offensive line having a good day. Keep in mind, Zach Sealer, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, a couple other guys, David Long, weren't participating in the team drills at practice today. So you got to keep things in perspective as well. Omar Kelly did say Jeff Wilson was the top producing running back of the day. Let's see here. Wide receivers, Jalen Waddle. Once again, he's another one of those regular guys you can just count on getting in the report. Noted for making numerous catches, producing after the catch. And another guy we saw, one of those undrafted free agents. We keep talking about them on a daily basis. But speaking of Daywood Davis, dad joke there. We did see last week, I think it was, in the OTAs, we got a video from the social media team of him catching a long touchdown from Tua over Noah Igbenogany. But he had a long catch and run in today's practice from Skylar Thompson, and he later caught a touchdown on another catch and run as well. But Travis Wingfield of the Drive Time podcast noted just how smooth and natural he looks with the ball in his hand. So another UDFA coming through. And another name that we heard today, and we're continuing to hope that we hear more from, as a former fourth-round pick just last year, Eric Ezukanma, noted for making numerous catches today as well. Omar Kelly once again had him as the top performer of the day, and I've talked about it a lot, waiting for that third pass catcher to emerge. Now, whether that's Robbie Chosen, Eric Ezukanma, River Craycraft, Braxton Berrios, I do not care. I just want someone to emerge. We did get video of Eric Ezukanma from the Dolphins social media team. I'm probably going to play it twice because this might be the quickest clip that I've shown in the history of the Fins Up Network. As you can see, barely. The ball did come from Tua. You can see him in the background. But then Easy catches it, and he proceeds to take it the rest of the way. I'll show it to you again real quick here. There's Tua in your background. Catches it over the middle. Gets the yak. A lot of what we saw from his time at Texas Tech. He's a bigger guy, but man, that yak is there for him. He did a really good job while he was at Texas Tech, getting the ball on like those quick passes and screen passes, and then producing after the catch as a bigger slot guy. So hopefully we continue to see more of that as well. From the tight end position, no player was quite singled out as much today with his work in the receiving game as much as they were yesterday. But Tanner Connor did have a fumble after a completion from Tua Tagovailoa, scooped up by Xavier Howard. We'll keep it in the secondary here. Travis Wingfield, I liked this nugget. Noted how fun it was to watch the duo of Javon Holland, Deshaun Elliott working in tandem at safety. He said their rotations, disguising of their coverages, not letting balls get over their head, deep balls all the time. We saw a lot of that actually last year in training camp. It seemed like training camp, OTAs, mini camp. It seemed like Tua and Tyreek and Waddle were connecting on deep balls all the time. They've had a couple of this year, as you saw. Eric Ezukanma got one there, but that was more intermediate. Not as many balls getting over the head of people in practice in this year's practices. More cornerback talk. Jalen Ramsey's not participating right now in the team drills. He's doing all individual stuff right now. But man, Omar Kelly once again singled out how much Xavier Howard appears to just be completely bought into this defense, bought into Vic Fangio and his system, his scheme. And when it comes to the four cornerbacks that we're featuring, think about what we've got right now. Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, Kader Kohou, Cam Smith. Talk about a solid four. And then behind that, you've still got Trill Williams, Nick Needham, Justin Bethel, who we've talked about, Elijah Campbell, who we've talked about in the past. That is a deep crew of cornerbacks. And going into even before the draft and free agency, it's like you need to add one more. And if you can add one more, this unit goes from maybe a bit of a liability to really good when you add a guy like Jalen Ramsey because of his versatility. Him being able to play boundary, slot, you could put him in kind of like a dog role and like linebacker. You could put him at safety, allows others to get on the field and flourish with what they do as well. Really looking forward to that cornerback unit. Linebackers, as we wrap up here, Garrett Nelson, undrafted free agent, once again noted for nice plays by numerous beat writers. We've got a thing going on with these UDFAs. Nelson, Agude, Miller, Kohou last year. Gotta love what we're going on here. See if they can keep it up throughout the offseason because that would be awesome. Mike McDaniel nuggets from before practice started. holding out Tyreek Hill of team drills as kind of a way to save him from himself. He's got a minor tweak right now, but noted like he's further ahead this year than he was last year. Feels comfortable with where Tyreek is in the offense. And you're not really going to force this guy back because you're going to need him when the games start to matter. So I'm not too worried about Tyreek Hill right now. Nothing new to report on Connor. Like I said, once again, holding out. Had high praise for Robbie Chosen's work ethic and coachability. But like I said, another guy that's in that mix for the third, fourth wide receiver positions on this Dolphins team. And then, like I noted a little bit earlier, David Long hasn't been on the field during these sessions. Mike McDaniel said he is also dealing with a minor tweak, but given his injury history, like I said, it's only June, probably nothing too much to panic about. But that name specifically, we're going to continue to monitor because of his injury history and why we essentially got him in free agency at the bargain that we did. But that's my report from day 2 of minicamp. We got one more day left. We'll see if the media is involved in that practice. And if they are, at some point, we will be back with a report as well. But until then, Miami Dolphins fans, fins up.